Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. On this one, do you ever see these? They're called patch panels. That's what I call them for doing rust repair, all that type of stuff. I'm going to go over one of these now and show you how I install them and how much of this panel do I actually use. Do I use it all or just a bit of it? Stick around. So here's what we have. This is a backside for like a mid-80s through 87, Chev pickup. They're typical, known for a lot of rust up around this area here, and you can buy patch panels for these. You can buy complete backsides. I've repaired everything on these old trucks. This was dropped off to me because someone, for some reason, this cracked. This had cracks in it. There's no rust on it. It's just cracked up. So there was a lot of use on the vehicle, and someone patched it up and filled it up with foam and mopped over it. So what I'm going to do now is do the repairs on this here. It's all let go down here. See where the panels let go? So I got to weld that back on there. But before I do that, I got to figure out how I'm going to repair this. Now the customer came down to give me this panel here. These are scratch panels. They're used in rust repair. Now, most people think they go out and buy this nice new pretty panel. They're going to come in here and put that on there and weld that right on there like that. No, okay. Especially this here. This got an upper lip that goes into the upper part of the box. This lip here don't look nothing like this lip here on these panels, okay? Usually you goes up and welds this into here and joins it into it. You're going to see a difference in this here. So you got to try to retain the original crease there. Now, in doing that, sometimes the panels are rusty and you got to do them. So if you're going to use something like this here, take it below the belt line, but keep it close to the belt line. What you're looking at here now is not how big the patch is and how nice it is and how new it is all this here has to be welded in, okay? Once this is all welded in, this here has to be filled, this here has to be filled, this here has to be filled. When you're done welding this panel in, like if you had to go up into here, you're going to have to fill this out to here, okay? You're going to have to fill this out to here, and then you're going to have to fill it up here, right into this section here. All this will have to be filled. All this will have to be filled because you're going to have to try to make this seam look like this seam here. So it's not going to happen. So if you keep it below body line, okay, all you got to do is fill to the body line. Right? Now, do you need all this here? Do you need this coming out as far as here? All depends on how bad your rust is. Sometimes you may have rust that's bad down here, okay? But in the case of panels like this here, I prefer only to use what I need, okay? If the metal is good here, I don't touch it, okay? I don't have nothing to do with the metal here. Nothing up here got to be touched, nothing up here. Now it gets over here, I got a real bad spot where they warped it up, and I got this hole to deal with. But then when I get over here, all this here is good over here, okay? So I don't need to use this, and I don't need to use this. What I'm looking at is just taking a small section out of this panel, okay? Just a small section, taking that piece there and welding it in there, okay? I could have made this panel. Since he brought this to me, I'm going to use it because it got the little crease in it for the belt line and everything in it and curvature. It's already made. So I could sit down and make this panel up if I wanted to. This section up here with the lip, with the panel itself. You could have made it. But sometimes, like these panels here, it's a lot cheaper just to buy the panels than it is to try to make some stuff because I don't know what it is with these square body Chevs, but I know for a fact that the panels for these are a lot cheaper than what they are for anything else. I don't know why, but this panel got a crease in it here. It goes around like this here and got a loop in it, and it's got an inner lip on it, and it's all flat up here with a little crease on the top of it. Pretty simple panel to make, okay? The modern trucks don't even have this lip, okay? Don't have this lip. It's just got a wheel lip in it. That's all it got. Wheel arch in it, flat panel. But for some reason, those panels are twice, sometimes 3 times as expensive as what these panels are here. It is crazy. I don't know why. Cab corner, same thing. It just seems like if it's on a newer vehicle, it costs more. These old square body sheds, the prices haven't really changed in them much in 20 years. So at the time when I was buying them, these panels, this panel here, I don't know, might be $100, $75 maybe, I don't know. I should look that up, see what it is. Yeah, these panels are anywhere from $60 to $80. That's all they are. The one for my truck out there is roughly about, I want to say about $130. I don't know, and like it don't have none of this. It's just a flat panel with a wheel lip in it. That's all it is. So, but anyway, back to this here now. What I'm going to do here first is I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to clean all this up here. Clean off an area here. Remove all this material here. Just make sure all this is good over here. And clean this up here with the grinder. Get it all smoothed down. And we'll come back and get started on doing the repairs. So I got it all cleaned off. Down through a few dents and everything down here. I went to hunt for any, like, see if there's any filler or any patchwork, any more patchwork. Got a small dent here, nothing serious. All this is solid, in really good shape down here. So the only areas we have a low spot here that's been welded up, okay? Along here we got this issue that's going on here. There's a small low spot here as well, okay? Now, when you're looking at this here and you're saying, well, Tony, you should just put the whole panel in it. What's going to end up happening here is if you put the large panel out here and you weld it down through 10 chances of 1, you're probably going to get some warpage down through here, okay? A lot of work, you know, trying to keep these old panels, because it's such a large panel, from warping up. So you got that panel out there, and then, of course, then you got to fill it all. Now, at least when you keep it small, okay, the smaller you can keep it, the patch, the less bodywork you got. Because I'm willing to say, if I done the repairs on this here now, and done the patch on this here, I can keep my bodywork in this area here, okay? So that's all the bodywork you would have to do, is in that area there, which is a lot smaller, okay? Now, I might put the patch in here, and I might drop a small bit here, and I might drop a small bit here. I'm going to try my best not to do it. Now, what I mean by drop is not a lot. I don't want, like, what's done here is ridiculous. That's just, someone just went with a welder up to there, right? And, you know, really worked it up and never even lined up the metal when they done it, right? So it's pretty crude what's been done with it. So what I'm going to do here now, this is let go down here as well, okay? You can see where that's let go. I'm going to have to weld that on. I'm not going to do that yet. I want to get all this panel made, because that way I can probably lift it up a small bit if I got to dolly it or whatnot. Down here at the bottom, I got a crack here I got to weld up. And I got to repair this section down here where the bolt used to go in through, the bolt on. The piece cracked off it where the bracket went. So I got to make up a whole new section to put there and weld that in here. Tidy up this lip here is all bent up. Right? Let's not worry about this down here right now and concentrate on this up here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to size things up. I have a crack here. I don't know if I need to go over that far. It seems pretty good. Like I was thinking about taking it to here, but then my body work will come to here. If I can keep it smaller into here, because it's flat. All this is good along here. It's just that there's a crack here, so I might just repair the crack there and then take this section out of here. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut this section out of here and see what kind of metal we're going to be dealing with. This is what I'm left with. I cut all that out there. I didn't want to go up too high here because I'm going to do the cut and butt up along there and down through there to make sure that this all fits nice. Yeah, so you can see where this is welded up. Pretty crude what was done with it. But you can actually see the warpage and everything that's in it. Going across it. Pretty bad when you look at it. But everything else seems pretty good. Along through here and along through here, this all looks best kind. I'll dolly a bit of this up here now because I can get in here now and I can dolly and fix that dent. And I might trim a bit more of that off because there's a bit of welding there's in my way. I like to clean that off, so I'll clean that off. I'll clean this up in here. You can see where they had the foam on it. Look, had it all filled up with foam. I'll clean all that up and get that ready, and I'll start trimming up that other panel there. Just cut out a big section of it, just so it can fit there, and we'll start trimming it to fit. Now I got the piece cut out of the other panel, and you can see here now it's got laid up against it, and so it still has to come up this way for all the body lines and everything to line up properly. Just look at this up here, look. There's the actual bend they got put on it. There's the actual end of the panel there. See? And then they come over here, and it's even lower. So that line there is a waste of time, okay? To put that panel in with that in there, because of that crease is too high. Because once you get this lined up here and moves it up a small bit, the thickness of this here, you're going to be left with this even farther up, even more, right? So what I'm going to do now is I got to trim this up a bit better and dress it up, and I'm going to cut this off up along the top here, and so that way I got a flat panel to lay in place. So I went ahead and I trimmed it down. I got the top side trimmed off it, so it's just below the belt line here, and I trimmed off the side to shorten it up a bit. And one thing I'm noticing here now is when it's laid in place, that it's not even shaped to the body panel. Look, got the crease going across here, and then they come over here and it's doing the same thing again. So that's something you got to deal with when it comes to these aftermarket panels. They usually don't fit as nice as you would like them to. So I got to work this now, and I'll just bend it up with my by hand, tweak it up, because this stuff is really thin, whatever it is. It's probably, I'd say 20 gauge, this stuff here is. So I'm going to turn around now, shape this up and get this to fit nicer so that it doesn't have such a high rise right there on both sides. Get that fixed now. That fits a lot better there, and a lot better there. Just a bit of a tweaking. Now, next thing I noticed was these lips right here. The lip here is wider than the lip here, as you can see, or even over here. So this is not wide enough. Now, you can leave that like that if you want to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld a piece on that. Just going to scab a large piece on it. I'm not going to be concerned about making it perfect. I'll cut it off after the fact. But I want to weld it on there first before I lay it in place, because I'm afraid that it's just going to be harder to do when everything's all welded in and you're going to live with a high spot. At least I can dress it here and dress it on the inside and have it all done. So I'll go over the bench now, make up a piece, just grab a straight piece of steel and weld it on across the lip there. So I got it over here, got it all cleaned up. I got it propped up on a bit of I-beam here, clamped on the bench, just to give me a nice work surface. I found a scrap piece underneath the bench there, cut me off a section. I'm never concerned about the length and never concerned about the width. All I'm going to do is just weld that just like that there. I like leaving the ends long, so that way I could trim it off after the fact and trim it off this way here. If you try to set that up so that fits there perfect, you're going to end up having a big knob of welding out here trying to clean up, burning away all this here, and then trying to get both of it look the same. Weld it on like that and just cut it off straight. So I'm going to get that welded on there now. Now in here, this seems to be about 20 gauge. This is 18 gauge. I always like the 18 gauge because it is a lot easier to weld than it is this stuff. I found that, if you've probably seen it there, I was blowing a few holes in a few spots because this stuff is thinner. And I like to have a lot of heat in my welds, so that way I get good penetration on the back side of it. What I did, because I'm welding from this side here, I started off. Okay, I started welding here. So I was hitting this first and welding to that. What I did then, to stop that, is I turned it around this way here, and I started to weld on the 18 gauge, and that way I went to the 20 gauge. That way it was a lot easier. There was no trouble to weld it this way here because I wasn't blowing holes starting off. But when I had the metal this way here, and I was starting over here, going with my weld, I was actually blowing holes before I got a chance to weld it that there. So I got it all welded up. I'm going to grind that all up now. So that part is done. I went ahead and I grinded that off. I grinded the 18 gauge into the 20 gauge. That way I wasn't grinding too much of this. I had lots of room here to grind. Here, not so much. So I went back then, I touched up the few spots. And you may be worried about going thin or anything. When you go back and you weld this up, you'll know if you're gone thin or not, because this will blow holes. Everything seems good here. I'm fine. I'll go back now, I'll grind this off. Then I'm going to take the grinder and zip off these two end sections and just leave it alone for now. And that section is repaired. So I got that all grinded up, and I got the ends chopped off it. I'm not going to worry about this length right now. I'll cut that later on when I get it welded. Much the same process is what I done over here. Is I'll weld it on, so I got lots here to meet the weld to, and then I'll trim this off after and dress it all up. So you can see how much easier it is to do it this way. To make the panel, I got a nice wide panel that I can actually work with. I went ahead and gave it a quick rub on the inside, knocked it off. It's good penetration in there. Right. So go over now and start fitting that in there and start trimming it up so it fits better. So now, as you can see, that's nice and long. It's longer now, so I can weld all it up there and trim that off after the fact. What I need to do now is I need to cut this here to fit in this section here. Because if you look closely, that you can see this panel is overlapping this panel here. But I want to bring this up flush to this panel here. So I'm going to mark this here, scrape it, put marks here, and then trim this up to about here somewhere. Just have it so that this here is a cut to fit here, and then I'll do the cut and butt on the rest of it. I'll do the same thing over here. Just a little bit of marker and a scribe, and now you actually got it marked where it's actually going to be butt welded. You can cut that right off there, and I'll come in on the angle here. I'll do the same here, and I'll remove these two sections here now. I got a nice fit there, and I got a nice fit there. Now that's pretty well ready, so I can actually start putting that in, doing a cut and butt. First thing I'm going to do though, before I do that, is I want to prep the back of this here and get it all painted. You can use whatever you would like on it. I got some paint there I'm going to put on that there. Same with this here, prep all this here and paint this section here so that we haven't got to worry about it later. You know, you can probably put some zinc on it or something like that. I'm just going to put a good rust paint on it and make sure I got some paint on the back side here. And that way it'll be ready to go. I'm also got to put a few holes in this here, going to mark it, and have it so that I can actually plug weld it in along here. So I'll mark them there and drill out them there so that can be plug welded later. Not going to worry about it right now. My main concern is now is to get that welded in there, but get it all prepped and get it painted. So I got that there. You saw me working the dent out up there, getting that all up there, and all I used is a pair of vice grips and a bit of flat bar, because you had to bring up the dent so the flat bar would find where it was level to, and you just kept pushing on the dent with the vice grip in order to bring the dent back. It's kind of hard to drive a dent back, try to get a hammer in there to tap it up, so just use the vice grips instead, right? And then I prepped it all up, sanded everything, sanded this here, and then I just put some old rust paint on it. You know, you can put whatever you like on it. If you want to put like some, you know, that gold stuff or the zinc primer stuff, it's very expensive. All I've ever done is I just use paint on everything, and I just put an abundance of it on it. You can see I got runs in it there and everything. Look. Flow indicators, flow indicators. So I'm going to go grab some lunch, let this all dry, and it comes back out. We'll get this welded in. So it had lots of time to dry. All the way built up there, look. All the metallics, all the black separated from it. Cool. Anyway, I got it all set up there now. It's ready. I can actually start welding this in. Now, the problem with it is this is dropped here. So this goes over and goes down like this. This goes down here. I got a piece of angle iron here. I'm going to clamp it in across here. Clamp this up in place here. And I'm going to get this welded down here first. I want to have this plane working right first. Not worry about nothing up here yet. I'm just going to worry about this down here. So I'll get this all clamped up, and then we can start welding this in. So here's what I got done. I wasn't quite happy with it. I played around with this again. I've cut these a second time and re-welded them. And then I come over here and I didn't like the way this was looking. So I ended up having to weld up the crack that was here so I can get everything to flow right. And now I'm happy with how it all flows from one to the other, okay? That's what my game plan was, to get that done. I want to get all this straightened away here before I went up and done the top. Now I still have to weld the side panel on here, because I got to drill spot welds here and also got to weld it across here, but I'm not going to worry about that right now, because I'd like to be able to, if I got to pull that apart to get up here to do some stuff, I can still do it. So I'm going to go up on top now, and I'm going to start doing the cutting butt up here. Now I'm here ready to weld the top up. I don't want to be forcing this down too far. Like, I don't go pushing down on it hard, because when you're pushing down on it, you start welding it, it's going to want to pull away from you. Now right here and right here, I'm expecting it to tuck, because two of these metals are pretty thin, and I'm going to take my time and try to get this here. So this is my main area here. Up here should be half strong, but these two sides here may be an issue, right? So I'm going to go ahead now and put a couple of tacks on this here, all the way around, and get it welded in place so I can start doing the cutting off. I'll shape this after. All I'm concerned about now is getting the actual piece welded in and I get the piece out from behind. Because there's an opening on this end over here that I can reach up through to grab this here. Hopefully I can get it out. Yep, I don't like that. Same thing there. I'm really making a mess of this. Now I got it all cut. You see me there, I was cutting at a 45-degree angle, making the gap smaller. Every now and again I recut it and ended up making the gaps bigger, but that's fine. I got it all cut all the way around here now. I'm going to move this here, get the panel set up so I can take that inner panel piece out. It's a bit tangly right there. Well, I got them out. It was a bit tricky. What was amazing is after I done them cut, they fell clear, okay, which was good. The problem with it was they got tangled up down here in this part of the door. I had to get a magnet, reach in through here. There's an opening right here that you can shove your hand in. I can reach right into about here somewhere. And I had to pick this up and flip it around. You can hear these sliding around in there, but I got them with a magnet. So 2 of them are done. I got them out. Now I can go ahead and weld that in. I'm going around here now, trying to get this here in position, tapping this down. I gotta watch it, because I might tap this down low. I gotta keep an eye on it, but I want to get it welded every inch so that I'm happy with what it feels like in between it. So I'm gonna go on and get the rest of this here done. When it comes back then, we'll start sizing everything else up. Well now, I've been into it. Look at this mess I got up here. When I got into this to start welding across here, what I found was from here to here, kept going like this on me, right on this crease. And I wanted to have it nice and straight, okay? So I kept cutting it, prying it. Every time I welded it, threw it in again. So I had to stretch all this out so I could weld it, and so it all came flat. Now hopefully it's going to stay there. Something tells me it's going to drop in there. That's it. I've had to play with this now for about 20 minutes. I actually got gaps in it now to actually put a coat hanger in there, so I can actually fill up the gaps after cutting it that many times, trying to get it to fit right. It gets frustrating sometimes. I figured this was going to be the easy spot. But where this had a dent in it, it was cracked up through here, it was a low spot here, it affected all this down here because this whole crease here was down right here. So when I tried welding this on, this whole panel started to go like this all the way down through this. So I've been trying to raise it up so it gets to the point now where I'm happy. You see it's still down a small bit there. I can live with that, okay? Now by the time I start finish welding this, that's allowed to be down even more. That's it. Don't mind the skimming filler and everything, so I got it all tack welded there now. Keep an eye on it, running the straight edge across it, making sure that nothing's falling down too far, okay? And I'm going to go back and start welding all this up here, up along here, and get this patch welded in. I'm here welding this up, and I'm just tack welding it, skipping about almost 2 inches, and like I'm skipping over one like that, and then going over like this, probably 3 on each side, trying to keep the heat out of it. Along the top, along the bottom. Then I'm letting it cool naturally. While I'm at that, letting that cool, I'm down here doing the repairs that got to be done to the corners here. Weld the piece in here, cut the piece out of it, making up a little bracket, welding that in. So I've kept myself busy while I'm waiting for that to cool off. So I'll go ahead, finish this off now, wait for that to cool another little bit, and go ahead and weld it up again. Got to be patient with it, very patient with it. If I start banging heat into that, that's giving away to me and that's gone. I'm still welding this up and letting it cool off. Still not finished. I got this done down here. Got the repair done down here and the hole put back in it. The brace is on the back side of it again. Little brace. Got that welded back on. And I welded the crack here. Grind that up. I'm going to weld the inside of these here now when I flips it over. Now I'll move down up here and I'm getting ready to... I got them all drilled out, clamped in position there, and I'll go ahead and weld them up while I'm waiting for that to cool. That's cool there enough now, because I was doing some other stuff, drilling them holes. So I'll go ahead now, weld this up here, a few more spots, and come down here and continue this off. Hopefully this here's staying good. So anyway, we will see. I got them all welded and grinded up, and I'm still not finished up here. I went back and I welded it. It's still a bit warm there, let it cool off a bit more. I got them 3 little spots there left to do, and lots of grinding. But I got everything else done while I was working on that. So it's always good to have a little project going. You can probably do small repairs while you're waiting for that instead of just standing around. Because I can tell you right now, you just want to go weld all up right nice and heavy. Oh, it's only one spot. And next thing you know, you got a big cave in it, right? Now, I expect this here to drop a small bit anyway, because I've been watching it. And I think this is going to have a small low spot here, but it won't be that bad, right? So, I'm going to go trim this off here now. And then that there should be cooled off enough that I can actually do some more welding on it. So I got it all trimmed off. And I went and welded this again. The holes are smaller. They're still warm. I'm going to leave it alone. I went and got a new disc now, 24. I'm going to start grinding off the lower section here. Come up to about here somewhere. Get this all grinded off here. And go back and then weld that up. Just going to creep up on it. I'm here now, you've been watching me. I grind one side so much, then I come over and grind so much. I don't want to go building up too much heat in the grinder, okay? I just grind it a bit by bit, coming back and forth, back and forth. I'm noticing now this here is lower than all the rest of it, but this is all staying up good here on the outside edge, which is not bad, because that way it'll only be a small area got to be filled, okay? But yeah, so I'm going to continue on now. I got one spot there I'm chasing after. I just want to weld it right up, but I'm going to just tacks in it and leave it alone, and then I get all that grinded up. Another thing too here, I'm finding this harder to weld for the simple reason I got 030 in the machine. I forgot about that. I usually runs 023 wire. This would have been a lot easier with 023 wire, but I've been welding all this up with 030, and so there's going to be a lot of grinding. Anyway, back to grinding. So I'm here now, just re-welding some stuff on the inside, welding up the crack that was there on the inside, give it a bit more strength, tidying up the lip along here, getting all that done. You can see the holes. You can actually see you can get your hand up in through here, and you can reach up so far. Now later on, he would probably want to paint all this in here, get up inside here where it's after been welded, and paint all that section right there and behind it. You can probably fill up painting through here and stuff like that. So all depends, that's up to the customer, because all I gotta do is the metal work on this one. So I flipped it over, welded up a few things, dollied up the lips and everything, had a look over, make sure there's nothing else that had to be done. Now I can flip it over and we can finish off the other side. There you have it, all welded in. You can actually see where it was actually put in there, if you look closely enough. But you know, most people look at that and say, oh my God, Tony, you did a lovely job on that, everything looks perfect on that. But this is what you usually see when someone shows you a picture of their metalwork, okay? Oh, look how lovely that is. But, all honesty, most guys, they won't show you that, okay? All the way down through there. This whole thing is low right in here. What am I going to do about it? Even this right here even tucked on me, look. That tucked on me as well. I did everything pulling that up. When you added heat to it, it just pulled itself in, it shrank, and it actually, that's what it did there, right? Now you can get crazy, you can cut through that and open it up again, weld it up, and you're going to end up with this thing, because I've done that a few times trying to get that to come up. I knew it was going to do something, okay, in through there, but I'm content with that. Like this here, that's not a lot of work to have to pull down on that. You just look at this panel now, okay? Here's your body work. In around here. That's it. That's the only body work. If you had to put that whole panel in there, you would have been out over the whole works of it doing body work. You know, you're replacing a panel to, you know, do repairs and stuff like that on this here. If you're restoring a car, restoration, high-end stuff, it's a different. This is the type of vehicle that, you know, you're doing your daily driver and whatnot, and you're doing your little bit of patchwork and whatnot. So this is the type of thing that you can actually do. There's no need of actually welding in the whole panel. Just put in what needs to be put in. This type of thing may happen, same as this here. Like, to me, that's fine there. There's no problems with that there. I'll turn around, you can fill that there, bit of fiberglass over that there, and I'll bring that up a bit, and I'll fill this section here. I'll fill this up here and taper it out into this roll here, which is nice. So that'll bring that up there, because that there can actually come up like that. Basically, when I'm over exaggerating it, but you can actually see it there if you look across, you can actually see the low spot. But that's just the way it all drew in on that corner, right? So you may be just even saying, Tony, well, that was a waste of a panel. Why did you turn around and do that? You could have made that piece. Yes, I could have made the piece. I had the panel, okay? This is more or less for if you're getting into like this section here and whatever like that, if you're buying these panels and doing repairs on them. These scratch panels are designed to repair a rusted panel on a car. You do not have to put the whole panel in there. It's designed to give you lots of room to actually cover up your rust and weld over your rust and whatever your panels. You don't need to put the whole panel in. It just runs into a nightmare bodywork wise, okay? That's the reason why all I did was I put the little section in here, and now all I got to deal with now is a bit of bodywork in here. But anyway, I hope you found that a little bit helpful. Doing small patch repairs, that type of thing. You don't need to reuse an entire panel like that. I usually do that with all my projects. I've actually done a few cars here now where I had panels and I've only put in what I need to put in. The factory stuff is way better than any aftermarket that is out there. So if you can reuse the factory, reuse the factory. Okay? But anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I hope the tips were good. And until next time.